Battlestar Galactica, the groundbreaking sci-fi series that aired from 1978 to 1979, captured the imaginations of audiences with its thrilling space battles and unforgettable characters. Now, 46 years later, fans are curious about what happened to the cast who brought these iconic roles to life. From the rise and fall of careers to personal stories and unexpected turns, this article takes a deep dive into the lives of the stars of Battlestar Galactica, exploring how their journeys have unfolded since the show's original run. Whether you're a dedicated fan or just discovering the series, join us as we reflect on the lasting impact of Battlestar Galactica and catch up with its talented cast in 2024. Richard Hatch, born on May 21, 1945, grew up in a turbulent household where financial struggles and familial discord shaped much of his childhood. Best known for his role as Captain Apollo in Battlestar Galactica, 1978 to 1979, at the age of 33, Hatch brought to life the courageous and principled leader. Off-screen, his career was marked by highs and lows. Despite his success on Battlestar Galactica, he struggled to find consistent roles afterward, often typecast as the heroic archetype. His love life was equally troubled. He married his high school sweetheart, Jan, but their union ended in a bitter divorce after 10 years. They had one son, Paul, who became estranged from Hatch due to the demands of his acting career. Plagued by financial troubles, career stagnation, and his son's rejection, Hatch faced profound loneliness later in life. Diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in his 70s, he passed away on February 7, 2017, at the age of 71, leaving behind a legacy of perseverance and dedication to his craft. Lorne Greene, born on February 12, 1915, in Canada, endured a childhood shadowed by his father's strict authoritarianism, which fueled his lifelong desire to be a pillar of wisdom and leadership. At 63, he played Adama, the stoic and fatherly leader of the fleet in Battlestar Galactica, 1978 to 1979. His deep voice and commanding presence made him a beloved figure, but his personal life was filled with sorrow. Married twice, Greene's first marriage to Rita Hands ended after years of emotional estrangement. His second marriage to Nancy Deal was happier, producing 2 children, Julian and Belinda, but his demanding career often kept him away from his family. Tragedy struck when his eldest daughter from his first marriage, Linda, died in a car accident, leaving Greene devastated. His later years were marred by declining health and financial mismanagement. After heart surgery, complications led to pneumonia, and he passed away on September 11, 1987, at the age of 72, a man whose public strength belied a lifetime of private pain. John Colicos, born on December 10, 1928, in Toronto, Canada, was 50 years old when he mesmerized audiences as the conniving Count Baltar in Battlestar Galactica. Known for his Shakespearean stage work and memorable TV roles, Colicos had a commanding presence both on and off screen. However, his personal life was a stark departure from his professional triumphs. Raised in a strict household with an overbearing mother and a disciplinarian father, Colicos sought solace in acting from a young age. After a brief period of theatrical fame, he moved to Hollywood, where success came at the cost of his marriage to actress Mona King. The couple divorced in 1968, and their 2 sons, Daniel and Victor, grew up distanced from their father, a wound Colicos carried until his death. His later years were riddled with health complications stemming from heavy smoking and drinking, which he attributed to years of personal disappointment and stress. He died on March 6, 2000, at 71, following a series of heart attacks. Terry Carter, born on December 16, 1928, brought gravitas to the role of Colonel Ty, the loyal and disciplined second-in-command, at age 49. Raised in a working-class family in Brooklyn, Terry faced significant racial discrimination that limited his opportunities despite his immense talent. He became one of the first black actors to secure prominent roles on television, yet his career was often stymied by Hollywood's entrenched biases. Off-screen, Terry's personal life was marked by both joy and tragedy. He married a schoolteacher in the 1950s, and the couple had 3 children, but the marriage ended in the 1980s after years of growing apart. The loss of his youngest son in a car accident deeply affected him, and he spent much of the 1990s advocating for road safety. Financial difficulties arose after a failed restaurant venture, forcing him to sell many of his possessions. Despite these hardships, Terry remained a symbol of quiet dignity and resilience. He passed away peacefully on April 23, 2024, at the age of 95. John Duigan, born on November 27, 1930, portrayed the brilliant but reserved Dr. Wilker in Battlestar Galactica at the age of 48. Behind the intellectual facade of his on-screen character lay a man deeply scarred by personal losses. Growing up in Depression-era Chicago, John endured the early death of his father and the financial instability that followed, forcing him to work odd jobs from a young age. After years of honing his craft in theater, his transition to Hollywood was met with mixed success, with Battlestar Galactica being one of his few notable roles. John married twice. His first marriage to dancer Elaine Martin ended tragically when she succumbed to cancer, leaving him to raise their son, Peter, alone. His second marriage to artist Margaret Lowe was turbulent and ultimately ended in divorce after a decade of mutual unhappiness. John battled alcoholism for much of his adult life, a struggle he publicly acknowledged in his later years. He passed away on January 18, 2009, at the age of 78, succumbing to lung cancer after years of heavy smoking. George Murdoch, born on June 25, 1930, brought quiet strength to the role of Dr. Salik, the fleet's chief medical officer in Battlestar Galactica, 1978–1979. At 48 during filming, his character's calm precision mirrored a personal life often defined by its own struggles for balance. Growing up during the Great Depression, George experienced a childhood riddled with hardship, including the early loss of his mother and a distant relationship with his father. Finding solace in theater, he pursued acting as an escape, though the path was far from easy. His career spanned decades, with acclaimed roles in Barney Miller in Star Trek: The Next Generation, yet he often felt overshadowed by his peers. Personally, George endured a short-lived marriage that ended in divorce, a strained relationship with his only son, and a lifelong battle with self-doubt. As his career waned, health issues mounted, and he was diagnosed with cancer in his later years. George passed away on April 30, 2012, at the age of 81. Patrick McNerney, born on February 6, 1922, in London, endured a turbulent upbringing marked by his parents' volatile marriage and eventual divorce. His father abandoned the family, leaving Patrick and his siblings to be raised by a domineering mother and her eccentric companion. At 56, he took on the voice role of the imperious leader in Battlestar Galactica, 1978–1979, where he brought an eerie gravitas to the cunning antagonist. McNerney's career peaked with his portrayal of John Steed in The Avengers during the 1960s, but subsequent years saw his stardom wane. In his personal life, he married 3 times, each ending in acrimony. His only son, Rupert, estranged himself after years of familial discord. Financial mismanagement led to near bankruptcy, forcing McNerney to accept minor roles in film and television. In his later years, he lived quietly in California, plagued by memories of his struggles. He passed away on June 25, 2015, at the age of 93 from natural causes, his life a testament to resilience in the face of personal tragedy. Lance Legault, born on May 2, 1935, was 43 years old when he played Mega in Battlestar Galactica, 1978–1979. Known for his imposing physique and commanding presence, Legault's character was a warrior loyal to his people, embodying strength and tactical brilliance. However, Legault's personal life was marked by tragedy. Raised in New Orleans, he had a difficult childhood, with his father, a strict military man, often absent. As a young man, he found solace in the military but was eventually drawn to acting, where he found fleeting success. His marriage to actress and fellow performer, Valerie, lasted only a few years, filled with struggles both emotional and financial. The couple divorced after a bitter split, and Legault was left to raise his son, also named Lance, on his own. Despite a successful career in television and film, his life was marred by an ongoing battle with depression and alcoholism. In the later years of his life, his health worsened, leading to his death on September 10, 2012, at the age of 77 from heart failure. Jeff McKay, born on October 20, 1948, was 30 years old when he took on the role of the second crewman in Battlestar Galactica, 1978 to 1979. While his character was a dependable and hard-working member of the fleet, McKay's life was overshadowed by personal tragedies. Raised in a small town in Texas, he grew up with aspirations of a career in entertainment but was discouraged by his family's lack of understanding of the arts. After his early success in television, McKay struggled to find steady work, and his personal life reflected his career's instability. He married twice. His first marriage ended in divorce after a tumultuous few years, and his second marriage, though more stable, was marred by his growing struggles with alcoholism. McKay was a father to 2 children, both of whom were deeply affected by his struggles with addiction. In his later years, he became isolated and withdrew from the public eye. On August 22, 2008, McKay died from liver failure at the age of 59. James Olsen, born on October 8, 1930, portrayed Thane, a wise and experienced advisor, in Battlestar Galactica at age 48. His career, though filled with notable roles, was fraught with personal turmoil. James had a promising start in Hollywood, acting in both film and television, but his fame was often overshadowed by his struggles with substance abuse, which affected both his professional and personal life. His marriage to his first wife ended in the 1970s after a tumultuous relationship, leaving him with 1 daughter, whom he raised alone after the divorce. Despite a few attempts to regain his former status, his career was overshadowed by the darker aspects of his life, including financial difficulties and health issues in his later years. James's biggest tragedy came in the late 1980s when his daughter tragically passed away in a car accident, sending him into a deep depression. He continued to act sporadically but never regained the success of his earlier years. James passed away on April 17, 2022, at age 91, though the details surrounding his death remain undisclosed. John Williams, born on April 15, 1903, played the dignified and strategic Sire Montrose in Battlestar Galactica at age 76. John's career was built on a reputation for portraying respected and influential characters, but his personal life was less stable. Raised in a family that struggled financially, he found his escape through acting, eventually finding success in both movies and television. However, the pressures of his work caused strain in his first marriage, which ended in divorce, leaving him with 2 children. His second marriage fared no better, with another bitter separation years later. John faced several financial difficulties, notably when his investments in a failed theatrical production led to bankruptcy. In the mid-1990s, he experienced a devastating health crisis that forced him to retire from acting permanently. He passed away on May 5, 1983, at the age of 80, reflecting on a career filled with both achievements and personal challenges. Lloyd Bridges, born on January 15, 1913, played the indomitable Commander Kane at the age of 65. While Kane was revered for his strategic genius, Lloyd's own life was filled with its own battles. Raised in a strict and emotionally distant household, Lloyd sought solace in the arts, eventually finding success in Hollywood. His career, however, was nearly derailed in the 1950s when he was blacklisted during the Red Scare due to alleged communist ties. Despite this, he made a remarkable comeback, but the strain took its toll on his marriage to Dorothy Simpson. The couple stayed together but endured years of estrangement and emotional distance. 2 of their 4 children, including actor Beau Bridges, later described Lloyd as a loving but often absent father. Lloyd passed away on March 10, 1998, at the age of 85, from natural causes. His legacy endures, though his life was far from the invincible image of Commander Kane. Richard Lynch, born on February 12, 1940, brought a chilling intensity to the role of Wolf at the age of 38. His ability to embody ruthless characters stemmed from a life marred by tragedy. As a teenager in Brooklyn, Richard was involved in a fire that left him with severe burns across much of his body, an incident that profoundly shaped his self-image and career. Despite his disfigurement, he persevered, becoming a respected character actor. However, his personal life was fraught with misfortune. His first marriage to actress Roseanne Mann ended in divorce after the death of their infant daughter, Tara, from sudden infant death syndrome. Struggling with grief, Richard turned to alcohol, which led to a decade-long battle with addiction. Though he found sobriety later in life, his health deteriorated, and he passed away on June 19, 2012, at the age of 72, following a heart attack. His story remains one of talent overshadowed by personal anguish. Durk Benedict, born on March 1, 1945, was raised in a strict household in Montana, where his parents enforced rigid discipline. His portrayal of the charismatic Lieutenant Starbuck in Battlestar Galactica, 1978–1979, at age 33 catapulted him to fame, but his life was far from glamorous. A rising star in Hollywood, Benedict battled serious health issues in his youth, including a cancer diagnosis, which he credited overcoming to an unconventional macrobiotic diet. In his personal life, Benedict married actress Toni Hudson in 1986, but their relationship unraveled, leading to a divorce in 1995. They had 2 sons, George and Roland, but custody disputes left him distanced from his children for years. Despite his public charm, Benedict struggled with feelings of isolation and disillusionment with Hollywood. Now 79 years old, he lives a reclusive life in Montana, dedicating himself to writing and advocating for alternative health practices, though his acting career has long since faded. Herbert Jefferson Jr., born on September 28, 1946, in Sandersville, Georgia, was 32 years old when he brought Lieutenant Boomer to life in Battlestar Galactica, 1978–1979. Boomer, a skilled and dependable pilot, symbolized calm and unity among his crew, but Jefferson's life off-screen contrasted sharply with his character's stability. Raised in poverty in Harlem, New York, Jefferson was the eldest of 4 siblings, taking on adult responsibilities far too early after his father abandoned the family. A scholarship to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts offered him an escape from his tumultuous upbringing. Though Battlestar Galactica brought him international recognition, his career post-series was a mix of sporadic guest roles and long gaps, leading to financial struggles. His marriage to a childhood sweetheart ended in the mid-1990s after years of emotional distance, and his only child, a daughter named Alana, moved overseas, further straining their bond. Jefferson faced additional heartbreak when a close friend and co-star died, leading to bouts of depression. Today, at 78, he resides in a small Los Angeles apartment, relying on income from convention appearances and occasional voiceover work to make ends meet. Marin Jensen, born on September 23, 1956, in Arcadia, California, was just 22 when she portrayed Lieutenant Athena in Battlestar Galactica. Athena, a resourceful officer with a sharp intellect, became a beloved character, but Jensen's career and personal life soon took a dramatic downturn. Growing up in a middle-class household, Jensen excelled in academics and won scholarships to UCLA before being scouted for modeling. Hollywood beckoned, but her meteoric rise was short-lived. After Battlestar Galactica ended, she struggled to find roles and was eventually diagnosed with Epstein-Barr syndrome, a debilitating illness that effectively ended her acting career in the early 1980s. Her relationship with musician Don Henley of the Eagles brought brief happiness but dissolved under the strain of her health issues and his touring lifestyle. Jensen never married or had children, choosing instead to retreat from the public eye. Now 68, she lives a quiet life in Oregon, focusing on painting and meditation, finding peace and creative expression despite the struggles that defined her earlier years. Noah Hathaway, born on November 13, 1971, captured the hearts of viewers as Boxy, the cheerful and adventurous child in Battlestar Galactica, at just 6 years old. His early life was far from idyllic. His parents, both struggling with their own aspirations in the entertainment world, often clashed over his career, leading to a tense home environment. As a child star, Noah experienced the pressures of constant scrutiny, often feeling like a product rather than a person. Though he continued acting into his teens, his career faltered as he faced difficulty transitioning to adult roles. A brief stint as a dance instructor and martial artist brought temporary stability until a catastrophic motorcycle accident in his early 30s left him with multiple surgeries and chronic pain. Married in his late 20s, his relationship crumbled under the weight of financial stress and emotional strain, and the couple divorced without children. Today, at 53, Noah lives quietly in Los Angeles, participating in fan conventions where he recounts both the triumphs and trials of his time in Hollywood, reflecting on a life shaped by fleeting fame and enduring resilience. Lorett Spang, born on May 16, 1951, shown as Cassiopeia, a compassionate med-tech in Battlestar Galactica, at age 27. Her journey to Hollywood was marked by determination and heartbreak. Raised in a conservative Midwest household, Lorett faced her parents' disapproval when she chose acting over a respectable career. After years of struggle, her breakout role in Battlestar Galactica seemed like a dream come true, but behind the scenes, she battled insecurity and the pressure to maintain her image in an industry that often objectified women. She married in 1980 to a fellow actor, and the couple had 2 children, twins Emma and James. However, the marriage was tumultuous, and their divorce in the early 1990s left Lorett grappling with feelings of failure. Her career dwindled after her divorce, as roles for middle-aged women were scarce. Lorett also endured a period of financial instability and a health scare in her 50s, when she was diagnosed with breast cancer but ultimately recovered. Now 73, she lives a serene life in Montana, where she gardens, writes memoirs, and reflects on her life with both sorrow and gratitude. Sarah Rush, born on September 20, 1955, was only 23 when she brought the character of Rigel to life in Battlestar Galactica. Rigel's calm and precise demeanor contrasted sharply with the stormy realities of Sarah's off-screen life. Growing up in a modest Pennsylvania household, Sarah dreamed of stardom, but her journey was fraught with rejection and financial hardship. Though she found moderate success with Battlestar Galactica, she struggled to secure substantial roles afterward, often relegated to minor television appearances. Her romantic life was no sanctuary. Her marriage to fellow actor Mark Daniels dissolved after years of tension over career sacrifices and infertility struggles. The couple remained childless, a source of lingering sadness for Sarah. A victim of Hollywood's relentless pursuit of youth, she faced age discrimination, which further stymied her career. At 69, Sarah resides in a small Pennsylvania town, where she mentors young actors and finds solace in her faith and community work. And Lockhart, born on September 6, 1953, stepped into the role of Lieutenant Sheba in Battlestar Galactica at the young age of 25. Sheba, a fiercely independent and talented pilot, mirrored the strength and resolve that in herself embodied throughout her tumultuous life. Born into Hollywood royalty as the daughter of actress June Lockhart, and faced the weight of expectations from an early age. Her childhood, while glamorous on the surface, was marked by loneliness as her mother's demanding career often left her longing for maternal connection. Despite a promising start in acting with acclaimed roles in television and film, Anne's career never fully blossomed as she struggled with being typecast. In her personal life, Anne endured a failed marriage to assistant director Adam C. Taylor, with whom she had 2 children, Carly and Zane. The union was marred by frequent separations and ended in divorce, leaving Anne to raise her children largely on her own. A devastating car accident in her 40s caused lingering health issues, and she faced bankruptcy in her 50s after ill-fated investments. Now at 71, Anne lives a quiet life in California, far from the spotlight, dedicating her time to animal rescue efforts. Larry Manetti, born on July 23, 1947, was 31 when he took on the role of Giles, a resourceful pilot in Battlestar Galactica. Raised in a working-class neighborhood in Chicago, Larry's childhood was marked by his father's relentless ambition to see him succeed in Hollywood. This pressure strained their relationship and left Larry with lasting insecurities about his career choices. Though he found success with his later role as Rick on Magnum, P.I., his career never reached the stardom he had hoped for, leaving him often typecast as the charming sidekick. Larry's personal life brought its own challenges. His marriage to Nancy DeCarl was marked by frequent arguments and financial struggles, though they managed to stay together for the sake of their son, Lorenzo. Beyond his career, Larry faced numerous personal tragedies, including the sudden deaths of two close friends and a fire that destroyed his home and possessions. Now 77, Larry lives a quieter life, occasionally appearing at fan conventions and reminiscing about his Hollywood days while grappling with the what-ifs that define much of his journey. Ed Begley Jr., born on September 16, 1949, portrayed the affable and skilled Flight Sergeant Greenbean in Battlestar Galactica at 29 years old. As the son of legendary actor Ed Begley Sr., Ed grew up under the weight of immense expectations. His father's fame loomed large, making it challenging for Ed to step out of his shadow, though he worked tirelessly to forge his own path. Despite steady work in television and film, including memorable roles in Saint Elsewhere and numerous comedies, Ed struggled with typecasting as a character actor. His personal life was equally turbulent. His marriage in the 1980s ended in a bitter divorce, leaving him to raise his two children, Nicholas and Amanda, as a single father. A self-proclaimed environmentalist, Ed found some peace in advocating for green living, though he admitted in interviews that the pressures of maintaining his legacy often left him feeling unfulfilled. Now 75, Ed continues to work sporadically in Hollywood, dedicating much of his energy to his environmental activism while reflecting on a career and life filled with bittersweet highs and lows. Janet Julian, born on July 10, 1959, grew up in a modest New York household, dreaming of escape from her family's suffocating expectations. At just 19, she portrayed the spirited Lieutenant Bree in Battlestar Galactica, 1978 to 1979, where her youthful determination and courage shone through. Despite her promising start, Julian's career never fully took off, with her most notable role being in the Hardy Boys/Nancy Drew mysteries. However, her life behind the scenes was filled with personal struggles. Her first marriage in her 30s ended in divorce after just a few years, leaving her without children and emotionally scarred. Julian tried to find happiness in other pursuits but found herself drawn into a quiet life, struggling with feelings of isolation and depression. Though she attempted a second career as a teacher, it never provided the fulfillment she had hoped for. Over the years, she became increasingly reclusive, retreating from the public eye. Now 65, Julian lives a secluded life in upstate New York, where she occasionally reflects on her brief time in the limelight, still grappling with unfulfilled dreams and an enduring sense of loss. Roy Thinnes, born on April 6, 1938, played Croft, a resourceful and determined leader, in Battlestar Galactica in 1978 when he was 40. Growing up in Chicago, Roy faced his own set of challenges, from an unstable home life to the pressures of acting in Hollywood. Though he had early success on television, his career never quite reached the heights he hoped for. While he was a household name in the 1960s, his career waned in the 1970s and 1980s, leaving him with few leading roles. His personal life was marked by heartbreak, as two marriages ended in divorce, the second one after 15 years, and he had no children to carry on his legacy. Roy struggled with personal demons, including depression, which made it difficult for him to maintain steady work. He later withdrew from the public eye and moved to a quiet life in the Midwest. Now 86, Roy has largely distanced himself from the limelight, living in solitude, far from the fame he once knew. Leanne Hunley, born on February 25, 1955, in Forks, Washington, grew up under the shadow of her father's harsh discipline, which fueled her fierce independence. At 23, she took on the role of the fearless first girl warrior in Battlestar Galactica, 1978 to 1979, marking her entry into Hollywood. While she later found fame on Days of Our Lives, her career was riddled with setbacks, including being typecast and overlooked for major roles. Her marriage to Bill Sheridan in 1980 seemed promising but ended in divorce after 11 tumultuous years. The couple had one son, Alexander, whose rebellion during his teenage years further strained their relationship. Hunley faced a series of personal losses, including the deaths of her parents and a close friend, which left her emotionally adrift. Now 69, she resides in California, occasionally appearing at fan conventions but largely withdrawn from the public eye, her life a mix of past glory and lingering heartache. Jane Seymour, born on February 15, 1951, was 27 years old when she portrayed Serena in Battlestar Galactica, 1978–1979. Serena, the compassionate journalist, was a role that showcased Seymour's emotional depth, portraying a strong, caring figure amidst chaos. While her career began with promise, her personal life was fraught with ups and downs. Growing up in England, Seymour faced challenges as the daughter of a mother who was constantly critical and a father who was emotionally distant. As a young actress, Seymour found herself in high-profile relationships, notably with actor Michael Attenborough, whom she married in 1971. However, the marriage quickly crumbled under the pressure of their busy careers, and they divorced shortly after. Seymour later married director James Keach, with whom she had 2 children, but that marriage too ended in divorce after 22 years. She was never far from the spotlight, but her emotional toll grew, with the weight of raising her children on her own and the pressure of maintaining an image of perfection. Currently 73, Seymour continues to act in both television and film, while also pursuing philanthropic work. Christine Belford, born on January 14, 1949, embodied the resilient Lita in Battlestar Galactica at the age of 29. Lita's strength and adaptability were qualities Christine herself had cultivated from a difficult childhood in an impoverished Newark, New Jersey neighborhood. Her father abandoned the family when she was young, leaving her mother to work multiple jobs to make ends meet. Determined to escape her harsh upbringing, Christine pursued acting, making a promising debut in the 1970s. However, her career never reached its full potential due to her refusal to conform to Hollywood's superficial standards, leading to typecasting in minor television roles. Her personal life was equally turbulent. She married lawyer Nicholas Steele, but their union crumbled after the tragic stillbirth of their only child. Christine retreated from public life in her 50s, plagued by health issues, including chronic arthritis and depression. Now 75, she lives in a secluded Vermont cabin, dedicating her time to writing memoirs and reflecting on a life marked by resilience and sorrow. Sheila Wills, born on August 11, 1947, brought courage and tactical brilliance to her portrayal of Lieutenant Dietra at the age of 31. Behind the strong facade of her character, Sheila's real life was marked by a series of personal and professional setbacks. Growing up in segregated Alabama, she faced systemic racism and limited opportunities, which fueled her determination to succeed. Her breakthrough role in Battlestar Galactica opened doors, but she struggled to land major roles in the predominantly white Hollywood of the time. Her marriage to musician Paul Rivers ended in heartbreak when he left her for another woman, leaving Sheila to raise their 2 children, Marcus and Naomi, on her own. Financial difficulties followed, and Sheila eventually left acting to work as a high school drama teacher. At 77, she lives in a modest home in Georgia, finding fulfillment in mentoring young talent, though she still carries the scars of her struggles. Who is your favorite character from Battlestar Galactica? How do you feel knowing that some of the actors have passed away? Don't hesitate to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this content, please remember to like, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you won't miss future videos. Thank you so much.